What's up, YouTube? I'm just doing a update on the Cobra build, and just wanted to show you a couple things that are new. Let me see here. Alright, I decided to go with a forge crank instead of the cast crank because the power I want to make with it. Not that these cast cranks fail. I've seen these go 600-800 horse without too much trouble, but we'll just say not all castings are equal though. Some of them will handle higher power better and other ones won't. The forge crank will definitely hold upwards of 1,000 horse or more without too much trouble. So I got the forge crank. I just actually got it back from the machine shop. I had to have, because I got it used, and they had to ground the rod bearings 30 thousandths under, and then the mains 20 thousandths under, so I had to get some oversized bearings, and I was just going to show you that. Also, on these 4.6s, a good way to tell if it's a forged or a cast crank is this center main bearing. There's no counterweights. On the forged crank, it's got counterweights, added counterweights on the forged unit, and it actually balances out better, or it's supposed to. So that's the cast crank, or that's the forged crank. And of course, these are a lot more expensive. These here, you can probably get these for the cast crank for like $350 brand new. You can get a cast crank, but the forged units are upwards of $1,000. So that's kind of an investment. But I got this one used, and then I had to go have it ground. But I still don't have, and then I gotta go get it balanced. I gotta get it rebalanced with my rods and pistons and the weights, and get that balanced right. But aside from that, it is great. They did a good job machining it, and I checked bearing clearances. It looked pretty good, so I'm pretty happy with that. Also, I decided to go with stainless steel valves, because I was just giving an example here. This is an original valve. This is a regular cast valve, the regular valve, steel valve. But under the high heat, not high pressures and high loads, you can see how much tarnishing and burning it goes through, and what it, just the engine running and doing its thing. And especially under a turbocharged or boosted application, these valves are going to see a lot higher temperatures. So, and that being said, I wanted to go stainless on them instead of just the regular valves. Like here's an intake valve, and here's an intake valve. That's these are the original stock standard, and these are the stainless. So I'm going stainless on the valves for longevity too, because these will be eventually melt down and get warped and get all kind of messed up over time. I mean, they can handle quite a bit of power you can put through them, but still, for longevity purposes, I'm gonna go stainless on this one. So all stainless steel valves, and I was just gonna show I'm been lapping these valves in, hand lapping them in. It's very time consuming when you have 32 of them to do. So it's been taking me a little while, but we'll get her done. And what you want to do, you see how these seats are really shiny. You really want to knock that shine down and see how shiny these seats are, really shiny like that. What you want to do is mate that surface though. So you take a little bit of this valve lapping compound and you put it on that seat. Put it on the seat, and then you put it in there, and you hand lap it in. And then what comes out, it looks kind of like this. Let me pull this one out. I've already done this one. You see how that surface is? I don't know if this thing will show a good clarity there. So anyway, So and you see this seat, it's kind of dull, not super shiny. It's because that seat has been mated with this valve. So now that the valve is mated with that seat, it'll seal up real well. So I can show you how I'm doing that if you want to watch. Alright, let me see if I can get a good angle here. See what we can do here. Alright, so first, what we're going to do is we're going to take this compound and we're going to stick a little bit on here, on this edge here, just kind of like that. All right. Then, hang on there. You're going to get a little bit of oil. I'm going to put it on the valve stem itself to lubricate inside the guide. So we're going to take this with the oil on the stem, and you don't want to get that valve lapping compound inside the valve stem, inside the guide, because you will mess up the guide. All right, so we put it down like that. All right. Now if this thing will focus, maybe. So let me try this. Yep. I don't know. So then we take a tool that's right here and we plunge it onto this valve like this. Creates a suction, and then you gotta work it back and forth, work it around. And alright. So yep. Got some on the outside. Get a little more on there. All right. Best way I could describe this valve lapping compound is it's like liquid sandpaper. So basically you're sanding a new surface into this valve and the seat and creating a new surface between them so that it will seal really well. So this is how you hand lap the valve in. Alright. So after we clean it off here, you can see the valve has a new surface on it. And same with the seat. It should have knocked the shine off of the seat pretty good. And that way it actually makes a sealing surface there. Get a close up here maybe. I don't know if you can see that real well. It just basically made a new surface inside of there, so that Alright, so off camera I kind of lapped this valve in a little bit further. I got a light here, I don't know if it'll help you see any better with that seat, but that seat is now lapped to that valve. I don't know if this light helps or hurts it. So, alright, focus. 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 There we go. See that seat? Okay. So basically we lap this valve into this seat, and then you clean it off of there, and then you have a good seating valve, you know. So anyway, there we go. So yeah. So 32 valves worth. That's a lot to do. I did one head already. I've already done these intake valves here. I still gotta finish up these exhaust valves here, and then I gotta put in a couple new guides on the other head, because on the intake side the valves are a little loose inside the guide. So I gotta install these guides, a couple new guides in the other cylinder head, so that they're not moving around, that they're stable in there. But yeah, I got to finish up these, and then after I get the crankshaft balanced, after that I should be able to start assembling this block and putting at least the lower end of it together. We'll get the pistons, the rods in there, the new bearings, and then I'm prepping the cylinder heads, getting them all prepped and ready to go. Once all the valves are in there and straightened out, I will have them just about ready to be installed. But I first got to get the lower end built first, and then I'll get all these new stainless valves. So these are a little bit of money too. They're not cheap. It's actually cheaper if you do an old small block, you know, with 2 valves per cylinder, where you got 16 valves. But in this particular case, where we got 32 valves, it's cost-wise, this engine is not the cheapest to build. It gets a little pricey, but they do make some serious power, especially for a small block. I mean, if you're looking at power per cubic inch, these things definitely deliver. I think Ford in general delivers better power per cubic inch of motor than Chevy or any of the other guys. Alright, so this one is mostly done. I got all the valves lapped in and seated, and look to be in pretty good shape. But I'm going to pull up the other head over here. I'm going to show you why we need to replace a couple valve guides, because they don't look too great. So I'm going to have to put a couple of these new valve guides in there, and then lap the other valves in. Alright, so this is the other cylinder head, and let me show you here. I don't know if you can see this real good, but that one's not too bad. That's bad. That's too much wiggle. It's too loose in there. Even with a new valve, even if I put one of my brand new valves in here, it's probably still too much wiggle. Oh yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, there's several of them on this head that are not ideal. There was one of them that's really bad. I'll have to go through and find it, but yeah, I'm gonna have to replace most of the guides on this side, on the intake anyway. The exhaust didn't feel too bad though. Most of the exhaust ones Felt pretty good, I think. Yeah, there's hardly any wiggle on the exhaust ones, but yeah, I can't wiggle it. That one's got just a tad bit. So anyway, I gotta go and replace a couple of these guides. Basically these things right here. So these have got to be pressed out and press the new ones in, and then check the clearance in on the valve. See, on the valve it fits pretty good. So anyway, that's all for the update for now. Thanks. Bye. Yeah, as far as power per cubic inch, like the new 5-liter Coyote engine that Ford is making is more like 425 or 430 horse, versus LS engines. The Chevy LS stuff is all like 6.0, and I mean, 6-liter engines delivering 400 horsepower, and we're doing it out of 5 liters. You know what I mean? So actually, I think Honda and Toyota really got us beat. Honda, actually, they've been doing this for a while now. They got a little 2-liter engine that's capable of 200 horsepower. That's 100 horsepower per liter. So when you think about it, that's that kind of puts the American stuff to shame. But anyway, but yeah, we can always still build more power with using boost. So even though I don't have the valve technology as some of the other stuff, the Coyotes have variable cams. You know, where this is just straight set cams. Whatever cams I put in, it's just they don't variate. You know, it's like the Coyote stuff has variable cam phasing and all that. So they can definitely build some power with those. Cam phasing definitely adds a lot of power to an engine. And like Honda, they actually got one that's got not just variable cams, they got variable lift and variable cams. They got VTEC, and then they got you know, the variable cam as well. So when you combine those two technologies, you can make pretty good horsepower, even just naturally aspirated, even without boost. So but anyway, so yeah, this is my, I call it my double Honda engine. This is actually one very similar to it. I just did an engine on a Honda. It's 2.3 liters. 2.3 liter. This one is a dead engine, but my Honda has a 2.3 liter engine, and I call this Ford here my double Honda, because each one of these, this half of the engine would be 2.3 liters. And this would be another 2.3 liters, which makes 4.6 liters. So my 4.6 liter V8 is a double Honda. Anyway, just thought that was kind of funny, how my Honda is literally half the displacement of my V8 engine for the Stang. So